get past unless he gets very hard on the brakes. Look how close he's getting once more. They go through turn 3, then through turn 4. This is the same as he did last lap. Gets very, very close to the rear wheel of Casey Stoner. Runs it a little bit wider, and he'll now try and get through on the inside. Runs to carry a bit more speed. He tries to go through once more. No, he doesn't. Casey Stoner, very tight line this time. Good, intelligent riding from Casey Stoner at the front, just closing the door on Valentino Rossi.
Now I've got Michael Bartholomew with me at the moment from Kawasaki. Michael, a pretty impressive ride from Randy. You must be pretty happy with it considering his injuries.
For sure, I'm very happy. Happy with all the weekend for Randy, not for Roti so much, but it's unbelievable what he do because he's quite bad injured since Le Mans and then another crash in Mugello. So I'm really impressed with what he's doing.
You think he can hold that station now that he's got the adrenaline going and everything?
I think it is difficult to hold this position, but anyway, even if he can finish the race, already a miracle.
All right, thank you very much, Michael.
Thanks.
We ride with Danny Pedrosa as they come into the stadium section. Just over 13 laps remaining. Casey Stoner still leads away. Valentino Rossi in second place. Valentino Rossi led for about a second and then was relegated to second place. We now ride with Valentino Rossi. Now, is he close enough this time? Following the Ducati down the main straight. Stoner rides defensively, pulls across, but now Rossi may try and outbreak him now. No, not close enough, and the Ducati very, very evenly matched with the Yamaha on top of the lead.
Yeah, very evenly matched. Quite different to what we've seen in obviously earlier Grand Prix this season, like in China, like in Qatar. I'm not sure whether the Ducatis have turned down the power or whether it is a headwind, but you think the Yamaha would also struggle with a headwind. So interesting to see that the Ducati isn't pulling away from the Yamaha like we saw in China, in Qatar, in those races where the Ducati really did have an advantage on the straight. Valentino Rossi's very close once more to the rear tyre of Casey Stoner. Through he goes once more, but Casey Stoner closes the door yet again. He's not going to let him get past without pushing his way through, is he?
He's not, and Casey Stoner knows that. That's why Rossi's tried him 2 or 3 times before. He's got past once, but Stoner then took him back, and now Stoner is absolutely alive to the situation, isn't he?
And good acceleration. That was really noticeable then from the onboard shot of Rossi, how much Stoner could pull away exiting that hairpin down the hill.
They're onto the back straight, and again Rossi is not close enough. He'd love to be closer and dive up the inside on the brakes here, but he's just not close enough. Now he has to work very, very hard indeed for the succession of right-handers. They're getting close enough to the Ducati once again, and perhaps have a little sniff at him as they go down the start and finish straight. I love this part of the circuit. Wonderful right-handers, and you plunge downhill. You've got to be brave to ride a MotoGP machine at this pace. Down for these fast right-handed, third gear, onto the start and finish straight. I would say that Rossi is not close enough.
Not at the moment, don't think. Stoner gets a little bit out of shape coming out to the corner. They cross the line once more, 11 laps remaining as they do so. The gap between Stoner and Hopkins, so there's about a second covering all these 3 riders as they go down the home straight. Just opened up slightly, maybe a second and a half now between himself and Hopkins. Hopkins just dropping off slightly. Pedrosa also, but Stoner and Rossi are the 2 that are within 2/10 of each other. Now, will we see Valentino Rossi close up again? Valentino Rossi is one of these riders, well, he is the rider of course, but he finds an overtaking point, he finds a place where he can really pile on the pressure, and he uses it to his advantage as much as he can. Now Casey Stoner knows that Valentino Rossi is going to try and pass him here, and then it will either be an element of surprise or it will be, right, well this time I'm going to make it stick, and something like that, and Valentino Rossi will pull it out of the bag. So Stoner has to have his wits about him, not just at that corner, but at the whole circuit. He'll lull him into a false sense of security almost.
Stoner is riding quite brilliantly at the front, because he is being pressured by arguably the greatest motorcycle racer of all time. He's remaining calm, he's remaining very focused, and he's blocked any move that Rossi has made so far. This is Stoner at his very, very best.
Well, we were talking earlier, weren't we? Valentino Rossi finishes on the podium here today. His 96th podium in the Premier class of MotoGP and in 500s as well. He's 28 years of age, but that will make him have more podiums than anyone else in history. Anyone. Agostini, Halewood, the likes of Mick Doohan as well. And it would make him, for me, one of the, well, he obviously is one of the greatest of all time, but for many people, the greatest in history.
Third gear, we ride on board with Casey Stoner.
Oh, Tony Elias's race comes to an end. Break 'em in pictures for a second. When we come back, Tony Elias, who goes out, oh, and it's engine problems. So, smoke pouring out of the back of the Honda Gresini machine, and he's forced to retire in his home race. What disappointment for him. Let's hope there is no oil left on the circuit there.
6th place Tony Elias was, obviously he's not now. Valentino Rossi still in pursuit of Casey Stoner. They've got round out the fast right-handers, turn 2 and 3, and under the bridge.
Another thing though with those turns, Nick, turns 2 and 3, you cannot see the exit of them, or you really got to see it's a blind corner for a long way round. First you've got to steer it by the rear wheel to trying to get in the turn, because as I've been told, you can run out of room very quickly there.
Here comes Rossi once again. This is his favourite place for having a go at Casey Stoner, but he did it once. Casey Stoner read the script very well indeed, retook the lead immediately, and now Rossi not able to do it. So Rossi will probably surprise him somewhere else now, won't he?
That's the thing, now he'll have to think of another plan, because it's not working there, is it? For the time being anyway. If Casey Stoner does have a medium tyre on, as we've been suggested by Bridgestone, then maybe Valentino Rossi can see that it's starting to go a little bit, and will start thinking, right, well I might as well sit here, because there might be a mistake somewhere else around the circuit. Randy de Punier is riding a brilliant race in 5th place. 5 different manufacturers in the top 5 here in MotoGP. Real competitive class now. Lots of different manufacturers, all with their factory efforts, battling it out at the top. On board with one of the Grassini Hondas, looks like Marco Melandri, and underneath him goes Chris Vermeulen. Vermeulen goes up into 7th position. That's what clip we saw from before. Crossing the home straight now, crossing the finish line is Casey Stoner. He's leading from Valentino Rossi and Dani Pedrosa.
You can see Rossi's brains working in the helmet, can't you? He's thinking, right, where I want to overtake him, he's not going to let me. I've got to work something else, and he will work something else out. Here is Randy de Punier crossing the line now. Loris Capirossi 6th, Chris Vermeulen 7th, Marco Melandri in 8th place.
A couple of years ago we would have thought that Valentino Rossi would have been patient and just waiting his time, but it's certainly a difference this year where he's really got to work for it, and Casey Stoner is a surprise maker, throwing back that pressure. He doesn't even know the meaning of the word pressure.
Valentino Rossi close once more. Look at Dani Pedrosa. Dani Pedrosa's really come back into this race now. He's right on the tail of Valentino Rossi, and that could upset the apple cart.